Hi, Danielle.
Hi.
Welcome to the PLT podcast.
Thank you. I'm very, very excited to be here.
Oh, I'm so glad to have you here. How are you feeling about the set?
This is probably my favourite set I've ever been on. I've basically come to work, I'm in pyjamas and I'm on a bed.
Oh, well, it's the best way to be. Do you know what I mean? Working in bed is the best thing to do, isn't it?
I'm
So,
wearing comfy clothes.
I'm wearing comfy clothes. Well, we're so excited to have you here today, and I can't wait to get to know more about you, especially your dancing career, because, I mean, what a dancing career you've had, and I'm sure our listeners will be dying to know how you've kind of turned your childhood hobby into this incredible career. I mean, you've danced with the likes of Katy Perry, Justin Timberlake, and Kylie Minogue, just to name a few. I'm sure we're going to get a few more out in the podcast.
Yeah.
But I mean, wow, like, how was that working with those stars and the stars you have?
Do you know what? I feel like it's only now that I look back on that that I realise how incredible it was. You know, sometimes when you're in something, you almost don't realise until kind of you step out of it and you're like, that was actually quite epic. Yeah. Like, I travelled all over with Kylie. I did quite a lot of her promo stuff. So dancing with her, and also, by the way, she is the sweetest lady ever. She's so kind.
I love it when you hear that.
Yeah,
it just
she's so lovely.
the love for her.
And I feel like over my 10 years as a dancer, which a lot of people don't realise I was a dancer for that long,
10 years, wow.
because I've been doing social media now for like 6 years. So I'm a lot older than I think what people think I am. I'm 31.
That's always good.
Are you? I'm 31. Yeah. Which,
well, I mean,
so I feel like I've had a while. Do you know what I mean? Like, in order to fit a 10-year dance career and then obviously like a 6-year social media career as well. The two did kind of overlap a little bit. Okay. But during my dance career, I mean, it was just my job. At the time, I didn't, like I said, almost maybe didn't appreciate actually how cool it was. Yeah. Plus, it's not always as glamorous as I think what people think. You know, the early mornings, the long days, the costumes that don't always fit, the tiredness, the blisters, like all of that stuff. But I do feel really, really fortunate that I got to take my hobby and turn it into a career, because not that many people can do that.
Not at all. And how did you do that? So I'm interested in like how it all began. I know that you trained to obviously be a dancer, but like take me back to the actual beginning of where your love for dancing began, and then how you turned it into this career, beginning to end. I want the whole story.
Okay,
don't miss any details. We've got the whole podcast, babes. Whole podcast.
Okay, so I got taken to my first dance class when I was 2.
Okay,
I mean, I say dance.
I love it.
I say dance, but obviously at 2, what really are you doing?
Yeah,
you're kind of just running around. Yeah. And I actually went because my older sister, she danced.
Right. Okay.
And so my mum obviously was like, oh, I'm just going to take Danielle, like childcare basically, like send her along as well. Yeah. So then I went to normal school, did dancing after school, loved it, got loads of great friends from there, turned into a hobby. And then I got to like, I would say 14 or 15. And I was like, I could do this as a career. And all my school friends were like, but what's your real job going to be?
Really?
Yeah, like because I went to quite a good like grammar school.
Yeah.
You went there if you wanted to become like a doctor, a lawyer, all of those like really, really highly respected academic. Yeah. And I was like, guys, I'm going to be a dancer. And at this point, I loved ballet. So I was like, ballet is my thing. I'm going to be a ballerina. And so I went to full-time ballet college for 2 years, from 16 to 18.
Oh, my word.
Long story short, or trying to keep it short, I've got a hole in my ankle bone, which isn't meant to be there, through doing all of obviously that like motion of the foot, like the ankle flexing and pointing. My ankle filled up with fluid, like ballooned. I had to have it drained, I had to have a cortisone injection. Very dramatic at the age of like 18.
Yeah,
very
dramatic.
You're
so young.
And my physio said, like, look, you'll make a full recovery, but if you carry on doing ballet in like 4 years, your ankle could be completely like knackered. And I basically had to make the decision at 18, like, well, do I want to do this and then be retired at 22? Or is there something else I can do? And I realised, actually, I can go and do like backing dancing, commercial dancing. And I decided, I sat my parents down and I went, Mum, Dad, I'm going to be a backing dancer. At the time, I knew a girl that danced for Blue. Do you remember Blue?
Oh my God, don't, because I was obsessed with Blue. All right.
Lee Ryan.
This is my time. Yeah. Obsessed.
So I knew someone that danced for Blue and I was like, that looks fun. I want to go do that. And luckily, my parents have always been really supportive. Yeah. My dad has since told me that he actually thought I'd do it for like 6 months and then I'd give up and I'd work in a supermarket. He was like, I just feel like you wouldn't be able to do it. And I did it. And then 10 years later, I was like, oh, okay, I've danced with all these people.
Oh my God.
So I feel like I learned about rejection quite early on, obviously, like not being able to do ballet, and managed to turn it around and was like, okay, cool, I'm gonna I'm going to do that instead. And it paid off.
There's so many questions, like from everything you've just said, that are in my mind now that I want to ask. And starting on kind of the injury, like at 18 years old, it's a thing that people often speak about in sport or in dance and that type of, world where injuries are such a serious thing. And at 18 years old, that could be like world crushing.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like, you don't really know what you're kind of wanting to do in life. And I finally thought I'd figured it out. And I was like, I'm 18. I know what I want to do. I want to do ballet. I want to be in a ballet company, do like Swan Lake, do all of that.
Yeah.
And then literally just, boom, you can't do that. And like, that's a lot for an 18-year-old.
Exactly.
I mean, it's not for anyone, but especially when you're that young. And all I'd really known is ballet and dance.
Yeah.
So then to have to try and obviously figure out, right, how can I still make this work for me? It was a lot, but now obviously looking back, I'm so grateful.
Yeah.
It was a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, and you obviously did make it work. I mean, you've worked on some of the biggest productions, X Factor being one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, how was it working on such a huge scale production as X Factor is?
It was as manic, maybe even more manic than what you would think.
I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah, it was probably one of the most stressful jobs I've done at times, but probably one that I've got the best memories from and just the most incredible experiences. Because if I'd said to my nan at the time, I'm doing X Factor, she knew. If I said to the guy down the road, I'm doing X Factor, they knew. You didn't have to explain, I'm dancing on X Factor. Like, everyone knew.
Everyone knew what it was.
Whereas there were other jobs that I was doing, I'm dancing for this corporate thing and this fashion show. They're like, well, I don't really get what you do.
Yeah, not really.
Whereas when you say I'm a dancer on X Factor, they're like, oh,
everyone's ears.
I get that. Yeah, I know what that is.
It's a household name, isn't it?
But we had, oh my God, babe, we had some stressful moments. I
want to hear about everything. Like, don't miss details out.
One in particular, and there is footage of this on YouTube. Obviously, all the performances are on YouTube. It was the final with Rebecca Ferguson.
Yeah.
It was the Matt Cardle. Was it that year? Yeah, Matt Cardle, I think, Rebecca Ferguson, One Direction year, that year. And Rebecca Ferguson changed her song 2 hours before we went live. And she was initially singing a ballad. And then she started singing that Sweet Dream song. Sweet dreams are made of... Yeah, that one. Right?
Okay, so that's a little bit different than a ballad. It's got...
So Brian Friedman was like, we need dancers. But bear in mind, she was singing a ballad before, so we weren't in her number. So it was, show goes live at 7:30. At 6 p.m, all the dancers, no matter what they're doing, getting ready, because obviously this is the night of the live show. Simon Cowell decided that he wanted to change her song. So Brian Friedman goes, right, dancers, stop what you're doing. I need you. We went into this big warehouse space at the back of the recording studio. And because Brian obviously is so passionate about his job, he's not going to make you do just step, clap, step, clap.
Yeah, yeah.
He's like, I've got a full routine coming at you, boom, in your face, learn it. So we're having to learn this,
I'm scared
right?
now for you.
And we're all looking around like, I don't know what I'm doing. I can't do it. Then the wardrobe lady comes in and it's like, it's the final. We've got no more costumes. Like, all the costumes are packed up. You've only got the costumes that you've got.
I didn't even think of that. Oh my God.
So it's like, but we need costumes. What can we do?
So everyone's running around like headless chickens right now.
So then she says, literally, all I've got is black bags to put in the new costumes in. He's like, pass me a black bag. So he gets a bin liner. He turns it upside down, so like the seam is at the top. He cuts a hole in the top and cuts 2 holes in for the arms. He puts it over his assistant's head and it's like, I need tape. Someone comes along with duct tape and he basically tapes in like a belt. So it's like a plastic bag dress with tape around the waist to like cinch in the waist. And then obviously the
thing goes out like a little dress.
Little dress. And he was like, everyone grab a bag, grab tape, make your own costume. And there is footage on YouTube of me dancing on the X Factor. So I think at the time they peaked at like 11, 12 million people.
Jesus.
In a bin liner.
I'm actually shook. Like I'm lost for words. I'm nearly crying with
in
laughter
a number that I
inside.
didn't really know either. And you can see us, like, if you actually look closely, you can see us doing the number. And we're like, oh my God, like clinging on, like, right, I've got to do it. And then we all finish on the floor. And obviously what you guys can't hear is us going, oh my God, I did it. I got to the end. Because like Brian would not have accepted mistakes.
No.
Like, he's so professional. He's like,
that's it.
It's your job to get it right. And I'm like, but I've only just learned it. It's like, I don't care. Like,
oh my God. And how old were you at this point when you were doing this?
I was 22.
So at 22, that's a lot of pressure. Like, that's your job. You've got to do it. Like, no matter how good you are, natural dancer, performer, whatever.
Yeah.
That's stressful.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
my
we
God.
learned it like an hour and a half before. Boom, bin liner.
I mean, I want to carry on talking about X-Factor and I'm going to ask you some more questions. But how did you get to that point? Because going from doing ballet, having dance as your hobby, maybe the job with Blue, did that happen? How did you get to that point? Because I'm sure there'll be dancers or people that are interested in the arts listening that are like, okay, well, I go to auditions all the time. I don't get the jobs. Like, how did it happen for you?
It's tough. Like, I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, it was a breeze. Like, it just, you know, happened for me. But I do think the fact that I learned about rejection quite early on, like obviously with the injury and stuff, I think it helped me moving forward because I feel like rejection became less and less impactful on me.
Yeah.
I went to a million auditions and didn't get anything, and you know, got told no, or got to the very last round and then was like, actually no, we're not going to need you.
Yeah.
But for me, it just started. I went to a lot of classes, so I'd go to like Pineapple Dance Studios.
Oh
in
my
Covent
God,
Garden.
that was honestly, that was the dream in the day.
Yeah.
That was literally my dream in the day. And I wasn't even like a dancer. I just did performing arts at college.
That's the thing. People go there just for the love of dance.
Yeah.
So I went there obviously to like train myself up, and then just started going to auditions. And then my very first job I got was dancing at the Brit Awards for Leona Lewis.
I mean, I thought you were going to say something small then. Like the first job I got, the Brit Awards.
I'd done like little like
yeah, but your
little,
first like big
the first thing
job.
that made me go, I'm a backing dancer.
Yeah.
Was so she sang Bleeding Love. She wore this gorgeous purple dress, and then we were there. And obviously I felt like I was totally thrown at the deep end because I was around all these like super professional dancers that had been doing it for years.
Yeah.
And I was like, little old me, like, what do we do? Where do we go? Like, where's catering? Like, what do I have to do? Like, turn up like 4 hours early.
Can I take a break?
Yeah. So, and then from there, I got obviously dance agents, and then they obviously start putting me forward for more jobs. And then as you start to work with the different choreographers, they trust you. You know, like after a few years of doing X Factor, Brian was like, I know Danielle. I know she can work under pressure after that incident.
I bet.
Like, cool, like I'll pull her in, I'll get. So you have to build up a reputation, as I think probably in any industry.
Contacts.
Yeah, you kind of build up a reputation. You perform well, you do your job. I did my job. I went home. I lived my life, like, and it kind of just went on from there.
It all sounds so exciting. Like I've literally got a million questions. Everyone's going to kill me because I'm going to go so off script. I've got so many questions in my head. What's your favourite like job that you've ever done? Like, so you've worked with, we said before, like Kylie Minogue, Justin Timberlake. I mean, everybody on the X Factor. There's so many more you can name. Like, who's been your favourite, or what's been your favourite kind of show to be a part of?
I think my favourite thing as a dancer to do was probably live performances. So like I danced at Wembley Stadium a couple of times.
Wow. And that's massive. Like how big Wembley is.
Yeah, exactly. Like you've got like 90,000 people. And I think you can't even describe the feeling when you're on stage. Yeah. And yeah, obviously they're not shouting for me, but you still feel the energy that the crowd are giving you.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine being the actual singer. Oh my God, I'd crap myself. The nerves. Like I'm just like one of the background dancers. You know what I mean? No one's really watching me. But that sort of energy that you feel off the crowd, and like the screams as well. So I would say anything that I did like live, or even at the O2 as well, because I'm from London.
Oh yeah.
So like dancing like, in my hometown, like that's always like has been top of my list. But I would say artist wise, Kylie, because she's so lovely.
I love that.
Katy Perry, because she was so funny.
Is she?
Yeah, I did one of her music videos. And all us girls had to wear heels. And halfway through, she was like, guys, can we stop? The girls' feet, they really hurt.
Oh, stop.
She's like, girls, stop. And she was like, we're going to have a rest. Like, we're going to have a rest because the girls' feet hurt. And I'm like, thanks, babe.
Oh, my God. Like, she really cares.
Yeah.
I love your American accent, by the way. That was really good. Really
I started and was like, oh, my God, anyone
gonna
wants
have to
this?
carry on.
I've got to carry on. I've got to commit now.
Got to commit. Fully committed.
I'm going with it. Yeah. And then Justin Timberlake. I feel like I'm like name dropping, but...
No, like just name drop because I want to hear it all. Like Justin Timberlake, like these are the people at NSYNC. Like,
oh my God,
he's dancing. Like as a dancer, Justin Timberlake. Like if you ever loved NSYNC, like I did, if you're from the 90s, you know, you're in for a great time.
He
was insane.
Yeah.
So like to go and dance with someone like that, who is insanely talented in that area as well. Like wow,
he was so polite though. He walked up to each of us. There were 12 girls. He walked up to each of us and was like, "Hey, I'm Justin. Nice to meet you." And we were like, sorry, what's that? Was it Justin? As if like we're not going to know who you are.
Oh my God.
Like it was
you're
pretty
dying
surreal.
I mean, he's a good looking guy. Like,
yeah.
I would be like,
yeah.
How do I stay professional in this scenario?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
You're like, I know you're with Jessica Biel, but you know,
yeah.
Please fall in love with me. Yeah. So like that, he was cool. So I would say they're my top three, like Kylie, Katy Perry, Justin, and then anything that was like alive performance in terms of like TV is great, but there's nothing like dancing in front of a crowd, like a real crowd, not a TV studio audience crowd when they're like told to clap. X Factor,
Like the
X
X Factor.
Clap now. Yeah.
Is that what it's like?
Yeah, you got like, the floor manager, and he's like, okay, 3, 2, 1, cheer, and everyone's like, yes! And then he's like, okay, stop. Okay.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
And the X Factor, obviously we mentioned it before, but it was a wild time for you. I need to ask, did you meet Simon Cowell?
Yeah.
Oh my God, what is he like? I just feel like he's just the man. Like, everyone is obsessed, or doesn't like, sorry. But you're either obsessed or you're not a fan of Simon Cowell. I mean, I'm obsessed, so.
I think he's cool, and I feel like you've got to look at him and go, congrats to you.
Respect to you.
Do you know what I mean?
What you
what you have done.
No one can say.
You know, like, let's be honest, it's not off the back of his talent. Like, yes, skill, business mind, but obviously he basically has created this huge empire of other people. He hasn't got to pay, obviously, any of the acts, because they're all normal people that want that chance. So really, it's kind of like, I want to say a cheap show for him to create, but he hasn't got to pay actors or anything. You know, he's got to pay judges or whatever. Yeah. I mean, if he saw me now, he wouldn't know who I am. But,
I mean, I'm sure he meets so many people.
Yeah, but during rehearsals, he was always really polite to us. He was polite, but then at the same time, he wouldn't think twice if he wanted to change a number and it was going to stress us out. It's like, oh yeah, like, you know, you all look great, you're doing really well, but I'm going to change that number and now you've got an hour to learn. And
my God.
So like, he's just very, very professional, very business minded.
Yeah.
Basically just does his own thing. Yeah.
I can see that he's definitely not one to mess around with, is he?
No, absolutely not. I mean, he got fined a lot because he would just smoke in the studio.
Really? I mean, this is tea.
Yeah.
This is hot tea and we're spilling it.
He would just smoke in the studio. And obviously, you're not allowed to smoke.
Wait, and how many years ago was this as well? Because I feel like it was so much more, it wasn't acceptable, but like it was so much more acceptable. And now if someone smoked it, be like, oh my God, like no one does that anymore.
But he just didn't care. Like, and they'd literally
vibe.
go, you can't do it. And he'd just pay the fine. It's like, let's be honest, you're Simon Cowell. What is a fine to you?
What is a fine? Like, what is it going to,
Yeah, so, yeah. And I mean, it was more for us. We're like, Simon, honey, we're kind of trying to dance and breathe here. If you could not, if you could not, that'd be great. But yeah, that's it. Like, that's what I'm saying. He literally does what he wants, and no one's really going to tell him. I feel sorry for whoever had to give him that fine.
Yeah,
rather you than me.
I wouldn't want to.
I'm not going up to him and say that.
Not a chance. He will do whatever he wants. Whatever. But with everything you're kind of saying, like with all the jobs that you had and the training and rehearsals, you must have had to be, and you still are clearly, incredibly fit.
Yeah.
And you have launched DPM.
Yes.
The Danielle Peazer method.
Yes.
So does this kind of go hand in hand? Tell me about like what was the inspiration behind DPM and when you decided to make it.
So the hashtag for DPM is train like a dancer, which literally is me down to a T.
Yeah.
And like I said, my social media and dance careers did kind of cross over. And I knew that I wanted to obviously eventually stop dancing and not perform anymore.
Right.
But obviously it being such a huge part of my life, I was like, well, I still feel like I've got a lot to give in that area, but maybe turn it into something that I can actually maybe turn into a business.
Yeah.
Rather than go down the dance teacher route or the choreographer route.
Yeah.
And with this kind of social following, how can I do this and make people kind of believe it? And I was like, I just need to stay true to what I do and what I know. I know dancing. I know how to keep my body in shape. I know what I've done for all these years. Right, let me create like a fitness method so it's really accessible for people. You don't have to feel like you need to be a dancer to do it.
Yeah.
But I'm basically showing you how I trained as a dancer, split up into sweat, style and sculpt. So they're like the 3 threads of DPM. So sweat is all of your cardio stuff.
Right.
So obviously if I'm doing a tour and I've got to dance for 2 hours straight, I need stamina. So that's the cardio. Yeah. The style is obviously dance. So like, and I'm not talking like full on routines within my method, but like a little like salsa step or a hip, something a bit sexy, you know?
Sexy,
bit sexy, bit sassy.
Yeah, love it.
And then the sculpt is all of the toning, the butts, the abs, arms, all of that kind of like sculpting, toning, muscle strengthening, like core work and all of that. And I literally just came up with those 3 threads, made different videos that kind of went along fit in each of those categories. And that basically is what DPM is. At the minute, it's on my YouTube and on my website.
Yeah.
However, I also have launched DPM 60, which is a 60-day plan.
Yes, I want to hear about it. Go on.
So it's a 60-day plan. It's a guide which features 18 brand new videos that will not be found anywhere else other than on my website. Yeah. That obviously you just pay a one-off. It's £20 for 2 months.
Oh, wow.
For 18 videos, it's like just over £1 a video.
Exactly.
And they're like 20 minutes long.
That's amazing.
Because I also think people don't have a lot of time nowadays.
No.
And unless you're really, really into the gym, you're not going to dedicate loads of time to it. Like, even I don't go to the gym. I like doing home workouts or maybe the odd class.
Yeah.
I don't spend hours in the gym. I think you want something that is effective. You can do at home, easy, minimal equipment, whack it on, 20 minutes, cool, I'm done. Now I can go have a glass of wine with my girls.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? That sort of
balance.
thing. Like, we know that we should move our bodies and do
Exactly.
exercise, but no one is going to give up all of their time to do it. So it's basically, just a 60-day calendar that you can start at any time. But obviously, for the minute, it's going through March and April, but you can buy it at any point. And just kind of follow along, and each day it tells you which videos I think you should do.
Okay.
And then you've got access to all of them. So you've got that there for when you kind of want to do it, and you get 2 rest days a week. So I give you the rest days.
That's it, yeah.
A Wednesday and a Sunday, so that you can have hungover Sundays.
Yeah, you've got to have a Sunday off.
You've got to have a Sunday off, guys. Come on now. Yeah, when people are like, Tuesday and Thursday are rest days, I'm like, no,
definitely.
Give me a Sunday.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, so that is going really well, and everyone seems to be excited about it.
I want to go and try it. Like, I really need. I mean,
I'll hook you up.
You need to. Yeah, you need to show me. Well, you need to show me some moves today at some point.
Oh,
I
don't
think.
you
We're going to
worry.
do some of that as well. But as part of that, you've done classes. I know that you do kind of live classes as well, like train like a dancer classes. Tell me about them. Is that something that you're still looking to do? I know you've done quite a few in the past, and you've collaborated with some incredible people to do them as well.
So far, I've collaborated with brands. So I was an ambassador for Reebok for 3 years.
Wow.
And I did quite a few live events with them, with Clinique, with Fitness First gyms. Like, I've done a few different live classes, but in collaboration with other brands.
Which is so cool to be able to, like, they're all really big brands.
Yeah, amazing. So I've definitely have had the experience of doing that. I would definitely love to do more of my own, like, standalone classes and events and things like that, and also be able to offer live classes, but like through social media. So whether it be like an IG live or something, I don't know, or through some apps that I know allow like live trainers and classes and stuff. There's definitely things that I want to do. So I'm kind of at the minute just trying to figure out, like, 'cause I don't know anything about the business side of things.
Right.
Like, I actually remember listening to when you chatted to Sarah Ashcroft.
Oh yeah.
And she was talking about SLA, and she was like, I don't know where to
just
start.
learn along the way.
Yeah,
That's
you know what
it.
you want to do, but you don't know how to get there. Like, I don't have any business sort of experience. I was a dancer. So I'm kind of figuring out how to do it. I've had to, figure out with my web developer all about how I can get these things built into my website. And oh God, there's a lot of APIs and all of this stuff that I'm like, I don't have a
That's a lot,
clue,
yeah. I mean,
right?
I guess you kind of have to learn about every single aspect. Which,
like,
I mean, it takes dedication at the end of the day, but you love it. So
you have to be passionate. If you're doing it for the money, it's going to fail.
Bother,
You have to do it for the passion. And I feel like this is what I know. Like, I know dance, I know fitness. I'm now a fully qualified personal trainer.
Yes.
Like, I've got the knowledge. So
exactly.
It's like putting a price on it though as well, when there is so much free content out there. But it's kind of saying to people, yeah, there are loads of YouTube videos, but like, I've done all this training. I've been a dancer for however long. Like, come on guys, at some point you have to invest.
Exactly.
Like, I can't do everything for free all the time.
Yeah.
So that's why I've tried to keep it really affordable.
I think that is,
like £20 for 2 months, £10 a month.
Exactly.
I probably lose £10 in like coins along the way.
Down the sofa, in the car.
Exactly.
No, we all do that. I think that's a really reasonable price. I'm definitely going to go and check it out myself. But you trained as a personal trainer.
Yes.
When was that you got your training?
I qualified 2.5 years ago.
Okay, so was that kind of when you would you say you're retired as a dancer?
I would say I'm a retired dancer.
I mean,
yeah,
that's like crazy because you're so young. Like, to be like, yeah, I'm a retired dancer. I mean, that's amazing. One.
Yeah.
But like, wow, when did you decide enough? Like, I've done everything I want to do with dancing.
I always said to myself that by the time I hit 30, I wanted to have stopped dancing.
Really?
And I wanted to a dancing career.
Where do you think that came from? Like,
I don't know. Like, I thought
is that like a known thing in dancing? Then?
No, because some of my mates, they're still like, a couple of my best friends danced on the Spice Girls tour last year.
Wow.
They're like 32, 33 years old. Like, go for it, hun. Like, you do you. I just knew for me, I wanted to stop by the time I was 30 and move on to something else. But when I first set out this kind of idea of this age at 22, I didn't know what that next thing would be. And it was only then when social media obviously started for me.
Yeah.
And there was that crossover. I was like, oh, hang on. And I actually ended up doing my last job. It's actually a weird coincidence that my last job was also the Brits.
Wow.
For Robbie Williams.
Oh my God.
So my first proper job and my last proper job were the Brits.
The Brits.
Yeah, which is kind of a weird coincidence. Yeah. So that was, my last job was in 2017, February.
Wow.
So it's kind of a weird thing that kind of all tied in quite nicely. But I'd already started social media then, and it was the following year after that I then did my PT qualifications, just so that people can't go, you don't know what you're talking about.
You don't have it, yeah, I love that.
Like, I don't want anyone to ever be able to tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about. Like,
what an amazing high to end. Like, I mean, it's sad to say end. I mean, it's not over. You're still using your dancing, but like, what an amazing high to go out on, kind of.
Yeah, and I mean, I say retired. Yeah. If someone called me, if Beyonce, which you're welcome to, by the way, Beyonce, called me and was like, Danielle, I want you. Obviously, I'd be like, all right, I'll come out of retirement. Do you know what I mean? Like,
would that be your dream, working with Beyonce?
Dancing with Beyonce is the only thing that I feel I didn't achieve that I wanted to. Yeah.
Wow, but you've done so much. I mean, obviously, like Beyonce is...
Yeah. And to be fair, I was actually saying to some of the girls last night, like, I would have had to have upped and moved to LA.
Yeah,
because she gets all of her dancers from LA.
Right.
So I would have to get a visa, move over there, and also start again from scratch with all of my contacts, with the jobs, with friends. And I just wasn't prepared to do it. Yeah. Like, I'm a London girl. I love my family, my friends are there too much. I didn't want to go and do that. So I kind of accepted the fact that, cool, I'm never going to dance with Beyonce. Like,
it's kind of good that you made that decision, though, that you were realistic, like, right, if I want to do it, I've got to do this. But if you do really want something, you would do it.
You have to make the sacrifices, but I just wasn't willing to do that. So it's fine. Like, I got over it. But yeah, so it's like, if some jobs were to come up now, I would come out of retirement.
Yeah, I love that. So Beyonce, if you're listening, I mean, babes, hi. Love you. We're all big fans.
Yes, please.
Then give Danielle a call, because she's an insane dancer.
Yeah.
But before we move on from kind of like the dancing, I want to ask, with performing in any kind of like space on a stage, you were mentioning before the energy you get from a crowd. Like, something that I know quite well is the adrenaline that you get when you come off stage and you've done a dance routine, you've hit every single point. Like, that feeling is like something, if you've never experienced it, I don't think you can imagine how incredible that feeling is.
Yeah.
Do you miss that?
That is what I miss. I don't miss the feeling before the performance, though.
No one misses that.
Every single time before a performance, I would legitimately say to myself, why the hell did you choose this as a career? You're so nervous. You don't want to go out and do it. You might mess up and someone will probably capture it. It'll be on YouTube forever.
Yeah.
Why are you doing this? And then I'll do the whole thing and I'll come off and I'll be like, I have the best job in the world.
That's
like,
it.
I absolutely am so grateful and I love my life and nothing can bring me down. And I'm like, I feel like unstoppable and I'm powerful. And I'm like,
walking your heart's doing like a million.
Back to the change room. Like, yes. I feel like probably how J-Lo and Shakira felt after the Super Bowl.
Oh, I mean, that's it. That's how high you feel.
I feel like I am J-Lo, having just done the Super Bowl.
I bet you do. So, I mean, do you ever get that feeling in like your life now, like with anything you do? Not really. You can't really replace it, can you?
No, not really. I mean, it's a different sense of achievement that I get now.
Oh, you've got a lot of
through like even like talking to like my followers and things like that. I get it through. I get that satisfaction through other things. But in terms of that adrenaline and that high, it's like incomparable. Yeah.
And something you've spoken about on your social media. Obviously, we've mentioned you're a huge girl on social media right now. You've got this huge following of 1.2 million, over 1.2 million. I mean, wow, we're going to go on to that in a second. But something you've spoken about is not wanting to like push your dance content too much because you were worried that people would say that you didn't really deserve your success.
Yeah.
And I read that and I kind of didn't get it. So why do you think that people might react like that? Or is it from experience?
I think when you're on social media, and I'm probably sure a lot of the people you've chatted to have said the same, you put yourself out there and you are basically giving people the right to have an opinion on you without really knowing that much about you. I'm not particularly open on social media in terms of like with my personal life and things like that. I share as much as I can, as much as I want to.
Yeah.
And I have to accept the fact that people are going to make up their own assumptions and opinions of me. Mm-hmm. And I've definitely had it through the last few years of people saying, oh, you don't deserve what you've got, or you've only got there because of X, Y, and Z. And I'll always be very upfront and honest about how I've ended up here and how I've got here. And so that's why, for me, it's so important to talk about things that I like and things that I love. But when it comes to dancing, because I hold it so close to my heart, I'm like, if I talk about it and someone comes for me when it comes to dancing, like it hits like hard. Like if someone says, I don't like your makeup, I don't like your outfit, all right,
I'm not a makeup artist, whatever.
I'm not a stylist, cool. But if you come at me for my dancing, I'm like, oh, you've really hit a nerve there. So that's why I think I maybe kept it off social a little bit, because I was a little bit nervous that people would have this opinion and judge me on something that I actually feel really, really passionate about, which I think is a shame, because actually the more passionate you feel, the more you should be able to share it. But
yeah, definitely.
It's like I'm still like this little shy girl inside that's like, oh, please just like me, and please think that I'm good at things. And
well, no one wants to be hated on.
No.
Like, no human wants bloody hate. Do you know what I mean? It's not nice.
Exactly, yeah.
At the end of the day, point blank, it's just not nice. Just don't do it.
Yeah. But I think they think that I'm like a different breed. Oh, but either you won't see it, or it doesn't affect you because look at all these amazing things you've got going on.
Yeah.
Oh, well, in that case, kind of a bad day. Because you see that I've got amazing things going on all the time. What, it's impossible for me to feel a little rubbish? Like,
exactly,
yeah.
And what do you do to kind of like monitor that? Do you block certain things? Like, is there something you do with your social media where you're like, okay, like I know that people block comments or they block certain words or phrases, or do you kind of just try not to look at it?
I've never blocked like words or anything like that. I used to respond like by being really like sickly sweet.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like kill them with kindness. I used to do that. Then I actually couldn't be bothered to keep thinking of responses, so then I just
too time consuming.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
It's got to be quite clever if you go back.
Yeah, exactly. You really got to think about it. So I'll just delete them if I've got a line like if they're racist or they offend my family, you're blocked. Like 100%, you're blocked.
There's no room for that in this world.
But other than that, I'll just delete them. And I won't, because I started to reply and then more people would do it because they're like, well, she's replied to them.
That's it, they just want that clout or that whatever.
So then I've like basically opened a whole can of worms, because then other people are like, oh, hang on, if I'm nice to her, she won't always reply, but if I'm horrible to her, she will reply.
Yeah.
Like, what sort of backwards way of thinking is that? Like, I'm replying to you, but I also think that you're a bit of a dick.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I kind of just ignore it. I know that feeling when it's affecting me mentally. Yeah. And I'll just be off my phone. Okay. Like I won't try and push through it. I'm like, let me just go hang out with my friends, call my sister, call my mum, like
take yourself out of
it. You have to know when to remove yourself from the situation when it's not healthy.
And you did in 2018, you took a break from social media. With Instagram in particular. Tell me about that. What made you come to that decision? Was this following kind of that experience?
Oh my God, I remember that so well.
I mean, it was ages ago now.
Yeah, but I
like,
remember that feeling. Like, I felt as though I had gone for a while trying to post and trying to please others with my content rather than what I actually wanted to do. Yeah. Which now I'm like, oh, Danielle, you're an idiot. Why were you doing that? But I do think you can very easily get swept up and caught up in the numbers and oh my God, I have to post this because that's what everyone wants.
Yeah, times
and it got me to a really dark place. I'd also not that long ago split up with a boyfriend that I had at the time, and he had gone on and got another girlfriend. And even though I split up with him, obviously I'm still like,
you're looking. No, of course, we all do.
You should still be out and crying.
You should still be upset about me.
You should be upset about me. You've just lost me.
Over me, yeah. I can relate.
And I think like if I'm being totally like transparent, that as well, I was like, oh God, that hurts the ego a little bit. Do you know what I mean? And I remember I was sat at dinner with my friend, had a few things going on, and then I broke down at dinner, and she was like, okay, what's going on? And I was like, I'm not okay. And I thought like that was a big thing for me to actually go, I'm not okay, because everything was so like, oh yeah, you just carry on, and granted there were and are and always will be people going through worse things than me, succumbing to the pressure of social media, but it's all relative. Like it's all relative. Like I'm never going to say that I'm worse off than someone who's been dealt devastating news, but at that time I was struggling. And she actually said, okay, well, what are we going to do about this? Like, what do you need? And I was like, I need to get out of the country. Like, I know it sounds really dramatic when, like, like those celebrities, and they like flee the country. I mean, I know I'm not a celebrity by any sense of the word, but I was like, I need to escape London. I need to escape this
like the normality. It's like your everyday, because you're stuck in it in a way sometimes.
Yeah. So we went to Barcelona for 3 days. Lovely. And what was so lovely, and which is why I love my best friend Vanessa, because she let me talk about it if I wanted to, and then she'd go, okay, we've spoken about it now. Let's have a good time, or let's not. She didn't let me dwell on it, but she let me get it out if I needed to. And I think that's really important if you are going through something, to know that it's okay to talk about it, but you can't dwell. There's a line from when, you know, you must have it like friends that go through breakups or anything.
Oh, of course, yeah.
You're like, cool, I'll listen to you, but okay, right, now we need to
to
draw a line. You know, we'll come back to it if you need to, but let's carry on. And actually, we had the best time in Barcelona. Just drank loads of wine. It was great.
Sangria, Barcelona, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, can't go wrong. It was in August, it was sunny, it was great. Yeah.
So would you recommend a social media break to anyone that's kind of struggling with anything social media related? Because we know it's such a huge thing right now and can be such a positive thing but a negative at the same time. Would you recommend
100%? I came off it I was meant to be off it for a week, and I got to like the 7th day and I just felt like, oh, I don't want to go back. Really? And I took another 4 days.
Oh my God.
It didn't, I mean, to be fair, it didn't affect my engagement or anything. Let's be honest, if anything's going to affect it, it's the sodding algorithm. Like that wasn't affecting me. So I think you have to do it. Like, don't be a slave to social media.
Yeah.
Because social media is only as powerful as the people that use it. Otherwise, if no one used it, it would be nothing. And also, there is so much content going up. No one's really going to miss my posts. Like, there is so much content being posted daily that, okay, if I'm not on it for like 10, 12 days, guys, we'll be fine. Like,
the world will carry on.
The world will carry on. Like, it's more important that I'm okay rather than making sure these million or so people are okay from getting my content. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And your YouTube channel as well is something you focus on. You've got over 300,000 subscribers. Yeah. It's something that was like kind of a big focus for you in the past, but it seems to be not so much of a focus now. Is that?
It's really not. I'm not a YouTuber.
No.
It's hats off to YouTubers. It's very time consuming. The editing, like, I also feel as though I should be putting out content on platforms I use.
Yeah.
And I don't particularly go on YouTube. I watch things, you know, like the 73 Questions with Vogue magazine, and like there are certain things I'll go on there, or like or like the odd interview with people, but I'm not a YouTube watcher.
Yeah.
I don't
Someone that sits all the time
I don't sit there and view makeup tutorial after makeup tutorial or like things like that. So I kind of think, how can I expect people in my audience who I hope relate to me watch it if I don't watch it myself? So, like, you know, like you said, I don't really use it that much. I put workouts on there because I do think, you know, that's mainly what I do.
It's a good space for it to go, to live, isn't it?
And my workouts have racked up, you know, some of my workouts now have got over 1 million views.
That's
so it's
crazy.
like, because people repeat watch them.
Exactly.
With vlogs, it's like you watch it and then you're like, well, I know what they did that week now, so I'll just...
When's next?
Yeah, and it's very time consuming, I think, for something that is so throwaway. Whereas Instagram, I love Instagram. Like, now I've got to a good place with it. I love it, so I enjoy creating content for it.
Yeah.
Whereas I didn't really enjoy creating content for YouTube because I was like, well, I don't really spend time on it. So what's the point, in a way?
And something that you are focusing on with Instagram at the minute is IGTV.
Yes.
And your videos with Girl Chat being
I
feel like privileged to be sat with you now. We've got our own little Girl Chat today. Do you know what I mean?
Chat, yeah.
But yeah, that's something you seem to be doing a lot at the minute, and like we're really enjoying it. So what is it that's made you decide to take that route and kind of...
My DMs, and I was just getting, and basically whatever my followers, if they wanted that, and they were messaging me saying, oh, I know that you've just bought a flat, I want to do that, I want to save a deposit, can you help me? Or I know that...
really important topics. That was your last IGTV about,
so
like,
I wanted,
buying homes.
Yeah, I wanted it to be about, like, real life topics.
Things that people need to talk about and know about.
Yeah, and, you know, don't get me wrong, there are loads of girls that are doing these, like, makeup tutorials or these styling videos and things like that, but it's just not... I just know how to talk about things that I can relate to. So I did one on friendships, one on relationships, one on like money management and like buying a property, one on like travel, and all these things that actually have affected my life. I'll talk about, and I'll get people to email, DM me in questions, and then I actually answer their actual questions, because there's no point me just giving my opinion on it.
Yeah,
I need to know what they actually want to know. So people have been asking, like, when am I going to do one for this year? And I'm trying to think of topics I actually want to cover at the minute. So if anyone wants to DM me any topics, they're welcome to.
Come on, guys, send the DMs over.
It's something that I just really enjoy doing. Like, it's not a money maker for me. It's just something that I really enjoy. And whether I could then open it up into, I don't know, either like a podcast or something else, so that it's a little bit, you know, bit more kind of material, then I'll see. But at the minute, yeah, I love a bit of a girl chat.
Oh, well, we're loving it. Well, let us know, guys. Let Danielle know if you're enjoying it. I'm sure everybody is. Something as well on YouTube, you've been kind of in the past quite open about like your personal life, and you are quite an open person. I mean, like you said before, you don't share everything, but do you ever find it hard with knowing what you can share and what you shouldn't share, like what you should hold back?
I think, it's funny, I think if ever I want to share something, I think, what would my mum say?
What a good way to think. Yeah.
And if I know, like, like when your mum's gonna send you a text or go, Danielle, that tone of voice. I'm like, if I think that I'm gonna hear that tone of voice, I go,
it's a no.
It's a no. It's an absolute no to sharing it.
Yeah.
Also, it's like, am I really going to gain anything from people knowing this, whatever it is?
Yeah. Okay.
Like, why do I want to share it? Is it because I think people can relate to it? Or is it because I want to just get it off my chest? Because if I do, I should text a mate. Like, why? Or is it because, and we live in such a world, like, I mean, the Kardashians and Jenners have made their empire through, obviously, oversharing their life. Like, where it started, obviously, with their reality show. So, yes, people are very interested in those sort of things, but let's be honest, I'm not going to become a Kardashian or Jenner, and I'm not going to have an empire like that.
I mean...
So, you never know, but no, I'm not going to. So it's like, what is my purpose for doing it?
Yeah.
Other than just to hopefully, like, hook people in so then they're, like, suckered into me. Like, I'd like to think that there are other things I can share that maybe people will benefit from, rather than just being a bit nosy and knowing the ins and outs of my life.
Yeah.
Because I've been in a position where I didn't have a choice and people knew the ins and outs of my life.
Well,
so now I'm in a position where I can control it a little bit more. I can filter it out.
Because you were in quite a high profile relationship quite a while back. And I mean, it is something that is still spoken about in press, on social media.
Yeah.
How is that? Like, even still hearing about it?
I mean, I have to laugh sometimes now. Like, if you had split up with a guy 7 years ago.
7.
And people were still, like, referring to you. I've had 2 relationships since then.
Wow.
As had he, 2 relationships, I don't know how many relationships, 3 relationships, however long. It's like, okay, I get it. And I will always understand why. He is very high profile. He's very famous. He's very successful. He's very good at what he does. But when we met, he was you or I or anyone that you walk past
Normal
in the street.
person.
And so I did not go into it knowing that was what I was getting myself into. I remember when we were on the show, on X Factor, and I was dancing.
Can we say his name? I just feel
yes,
in
we
case
can,
anyone
Liam.
doesn't know, I'm going to state his name. It's Liam Payne.
Yes.
For anyone that's listening that's a fan of One Direction or Liam.
Yeah. And we met when he was a contestant on the X Factor, and I was dancing. And I remember after having some conversations, and obviously you could see a little bit of the like 1D hysteria happening, but no one knew really what it was going to turn into. And I remember him saying to me, oh, it'd be cool if we were like, if we got to like as successful as like JLS, who at the time were the biggest boy band in the country, right? And then. And it was like, you know how I said at the beginning of this chat, you don't really realise what you're in until you're out of it. I didn't realise until I was out of it in like 2013. I was like, oh my God, like that's like superstardom.
Literally.
Because to me, I'm going to sound really stupid now. I didn't know what it was to go out without a security guard. And I know that makes me sound really, really stupid and naive.
No, it doesn't.
But I was 22 at the time. I hadn't really had any like real relationships. And it was just, we went from, oh, well, this is Liam's life. I'm part of Liam's life. We go out with a security guard.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, like, I know that wasn't a normal relationship thing. But because I was so young, I was like, well, this is what my relationship is. And everyone's normal is different. And that was my normal.
Exactly.
And it was only afterwards, after it all ended, when my parents, so obviously I moved back in with my parents, and my parents had the newspapers every day, at least 4 times a day, knocking on the door, just going, how much, whilst I was like heartbroken. Because
when they say how much, what do they mean, like
money,
for a story?
How much money for a story? Because it started with like, we'll give you this much, we'll give you that much. And every time, I even now sometimes, if something's happened in his life So for example, when his little baby boy was born,
Yeah.
and obviously we'd been split up a long time, but then I was in another relationship when that all happened. Obviously he was with Cheryl.
Yeah.
And I was at my mum's, and it happened like the week before or something that this baby had been born, and the doorbell rang, and I felt again, I was like, I can't, and it wasn't the newspaper, but even like if anything big happens in his life,
You're still brought up.
I still get,
You are.
I still get that feeling. And then obviously after that, and when the baby was born, and then I did bump into either a reporter or something if I was at an event, and it would all come back up again, and I'm like, I don't sodding know about the baby. I know as much as anyone else does. You're asking me like I was there in the delivery room. Like, I haven't got a clue. So I get why that connection is made, and I also will never publicly ever say anything really, really negative about him. Like him and I, our relationship was our relationship. Yes, have I probably slagged him off to my mates? Absolutely, of course, because
everyone does. Yeah, exactly.
But I haven't actually. I have nothing but, I guess, gratitude for the fact that from that relationship, I'm sat here on this bed chatting to you with PLT. Like, that would never have happened, most likely, because I'm well aware that my first initial boost of followers came from that relationship. When we split up, I had 400,000 followers.
Wow.
Now, since that day we split up, I haven't mentioned him in terms of selling a story,
the
odd chat or whatever, but like I've never spoken, I've not posted about him, nothing, and I'm now on 1.2.
Exactly.
So
you've not only you've grown and maintained. You said before you maintained, you've grown massively.
Yeah, and I'll always be grateful for that kind of little leg up in the same way that he got that from Simon Cowell. Like everyone gets a little, help maybe along the way at some point.
Yeah.
Simon Cowell was his in order to give him the platform to be in the band to do that. And mine was him, like, in that sense. So, yeah, it sometimes get a bit frustrating, but I think it was so long ago now that it was hard, obviously, the closer it was, because I still was, like, maybe hurting a little bit.
Yeah,
but,
of course.
And, like, same for him as well, although people obviously don't really ask him about me. No one really cares.
I'm sure they probably do, to be honest.
Well, they should do. They should do.
But how was it going through? Because, like, what you were doing, your lifestyle as a dancer, you could actually say that wasn't really a normal lifestyle because it's so many young girls' dreams. Do you know what I mean? Like, to you, it was your career and your job, but it is such an incredible position to be in. But to be going through a relationship in the public eye and then a breakup in the public eye at so young, like, how was it going through that?
I was 24 when we split up nearly, was I? Yeah, I was 24, nearly 25. And obviously at the time, like, it just, I think everyone expected there to be some big dramatic breakup. Our lives were just very different. I know that sounds really like, oh, your publicist told you to say that. Like,
No,
but
that's what happens
it genuinely,
as you grow
like,
older.
Look at his life, and there was me trying to maintain this normal dance career life.
Yeah.
I couldn't, and also didn't want to spend all my time traveling the world with him, because ultimately it was just following him around. It's not like we were going traveling together. He had to go to these places, and I was like, I kind of want to stay in London and like still carry on. Like, I'm still going to do X Factor the following year after you're on it, and the year after that, and the year after that. Like that, they're my jobs, and that's how I want to earn my money. So it just broke down because we were very different, and there was no big dramatic, like, no cheating scandal, nothing.
I'm so glad.
Yeah,
like,
they're really.
least...
It's actually really
nice.
boring.
Yeah.
Like people almost want. Do you know what I mean? They want a little bit of like
tea.
Yeah. So, right, what was I saying? Oh yeah. So anyway, so we broke up because of that. And we were both actually like struggling to begin with because I had really been there, obviously, for him through this huge transition period. And obviously then he was looking around at people going, hang on, do I trust you? Can I trust you? Can I trust you? And I'd like to think that even now to this day, it's like, do you know what? Despite everything, I can trust Danielle. Like, she's a decent, like I said, I've never sold a story. Yeah. This is probably the most I've really ever spoken about it.
Really?
Yeah. But I think I had to go through that, and I'm so grateful that I did. And it was shit, basically, as any breakup is. Because regardless of how famous your ex is or not, a breakup is a breakup.
Yeah.
Like, heartbreak is heartbreak. It doesn't matter who that person is. It just didn't help that I couldn't turn on TV, turn on the radio, go outside my house. At that point, they were all on all the magazines. Like, it was a lot.
Well, thank you very much for sharing that, that with us. I know it was a lot to talk about, so thank you. We appreciate it. But talking about current day, present day, where we are right now, Danielle, 2020.
Yes.
Is there anyone in your life, anyone special right now?
At the moment, no.
I like that. Focusing on yourself?
Yeah. I split up at the end of last year.
Right.
With my last boyfriend. I was with him for about a year.
Okay.
And in the nicest way, he was a little bit of a moron. So.
Okay, so I was like, oh shit. She broke up last year. Didn't realise. So I thought I was opening up some wounds there. And she's like, yeah, he's a bit of a moron. Feel better.
No, it's fine. Yeah, you live, you learn. We all do. And that's that. Okay. And he doesn't deserve to be named, even though he'd probably want to be named. He doesn't even deserve it.
I like that.
So,
I like that.
Yeah, so this is why as well, I don't really put people on my social media.
Yeah.
Because he potentially could have ended up benefiting from being on my social media.
Exactly.
And obviously now we're not together and I'm like, I don't want that. In fact, I remember speaking to Montana from Love Island. Yeah. And she's obviously been with her boyfriend for quite a few years. But for the first year they were together, she was like, I'm not putting it on my social media because I don't want him to benefit. I don't want him to be with me to benefit from that.
Especially when you don't know whether it's like when you're at that stage.
And now obviously they've been together for a while.
Yeah.
So yeah, like she will post about him. And I was like, actually, that's really smart. So so no, currently single.
Okay.
Actually really not that fussed right now about, like, I mean, if it happens, it happens.
Yeah.
But I'm not like on the prowl, on the hunt. I think I'm fortunate that my friends are all at different stages of their life.
Yeah.
So I've got quite a few friends that are single as well. So we go out together.
That's what you need.
Single
girls.
A couple of my friends. One of my friends is about to have a baby. Oh. So like obviously she's like totally in her like mummy family world. And then a couple of friends married, a couple are just living with their boyfriends. So I've got a kind of whatever I need anywhere.
Bit of everything.
Yeah, which I think
stable.
Yeah.
Girls go wild. You got the lot.
Yeah. I feel like I'm like the commander-in-chief of the Girls Go Wild group.
Love it.
Yeah, so I'm kind of just actually doing me and also like focusing on like DPM. When I'm in a relationship, I'm fully in the relationship and I end up compromising things I want to do. And that's what I found I was doing last year. I basically put my life on hold for 2 months because my ex-boyfriend went through something quite bad and I basically was treading water with work because that's me as a person. But I think whilst I haven't got any of those emotional connections with anyone, I need to fully throw myself into me so that then when someone does maybe come along, I can find a better balance, which is my own fault for not finding that balance before.
And speaking of friendships, you have got some pretty big friends in the industry as well. Is it right? Like, fun facts, you used to live with Jade Thirlwall.
Yes, for 3 years we lived together.
I mean, like, your life has just been crazy.
Yeah, do you know what?
Was that actually... through X Factor?
No, we met. Funny story how we met. So obviously we knew of each other. Yeah. She knew of me because she had been on X Factor with Liam.
Same year.
And their parents were friends and all of that.
Oh, wow.
So she knew of me. And we'd been at some events at the same time when I was like there with Liam or whatever. But I didn't know her at all. Obviously I knew Perry because that was when Perry was with Zayn.
So all the puzzle pieces are coming together in my head right now.
So I actually spent more of my time with Perry.
Wow.
Because we'd like, if we did go out and on the road or whatever. And then I danced at the summertime ball. You know that Capital FM summertime ball?
Yeah.
I danced there and Little Mix were performing. Anyway, afterwards we all went, I wasn't dancing for Little Mix, I was dancing for another act. And afterwards we went to this after party at Mahiki.
Oh, yeah.
And we were all dancing and I look over and I see Jade pretty much in the middle of the dance floor on her own, like looking around like a little lost puppy. So I went up to her and I was like, babe, are you all right? She's like, I've lost all my friends. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go to the toilet and then I'm going to go get a drink. Do you want to come? She's like, yeah, okay. We got so drunk that night.
Love that.
And then our friendship grew because we would go out. Obviously, her being from Newcastle, she didn't have that many friends in London at the time.
Yeah, gosh.
So we'd go out on a Friday or a Saturday. I'd stay at her flat. We'd have like hungover Sundays together. And that was how our friendship grew. And then she was like, oh, yeah, I live on my own. It's kind of lonely. And I was like, well, I'm looking to move. So, and she was like, shall we? And then we lived together for 3 years.
Oh, my God. Wow.
Yeah, but it was great, though, because when we first became friends, we were both single. And then shortly after I moved in, I got with a guy who I was with for 3 years. And then shortly after that, she then met her, I think now ex-boyfriend. So we started like single gal pals going out, and then
every weekend.
all of a sudden we were like both in relationships, and we were having like little like double dates and cooking for the other couple, and it became that. So yeah, that was really fun.
And are you still in touch now? Do you still
I haven't. Do you know what? I haven't spoken to her for a while actually. She did invite me to her New Year party, but I couldn't go because I'd already made plans. So and I also was meant to go to your Little Mix.
Little Mix. Where were you?
No, I was
Danielle.
gutted. Gosh, you need to let me know more in advance. You spring these huge parties up.
We do, to be fair.
And then I see
like
it all on
tomorrow
social.
party.
Yeah, I see it all on
It
social,
literally
and I'm like,
is.
oh, I missed out on that one. That looked like a good one. So.
Oh well, next time, the next
time.
event or whenever, we'll get you there for sure.
So I haven't spoken to her for a while. But in fact, that actually reminds me, I should text her.
Well, if she's listening, hiya.
Hey, hun.
Let's
How's Norma?
have a little rekindle there, guys.
Love you, Nan.
Well, I mean, this has been so exciting getting to know you today, but I want to know, like, what is coming next for you in the future? You're doing a lot right now, and I'm excited for DPM, excited for DPM 60 to see how that goes. I'm going to try it myself. I'm probably going to try it after this.
Absolutely.
I actually am. No, I actually am, aren't I? I'm going to try something. But what are you kind of focusing on? What's next?
I think the focus for me over the next year or so is to really hone in on like more of the business side of things. Like, yes, I love Instagram. I love creating content, but as I said, I'm 31. I don't really want to be going all through my 30s still like not just promoting stuff, but I want to get more involved in the business side of things, which is why I like the whole DPM 60 thing. I'd like to bring on more trainers so that I can maybe franchise it out, do those sort of things, continue to work with brands, but maybe then move into a little bit more of like consultancy, because like I said, I've been doing this for so long. Like I from an influencer's point of view, there are a lot of brands. I mean, PLT obviously have got it down. They know exactly what to do. But there are a lot of brands out there that are kind of like, oh, I don't really know where to start and things like that. So that is my kind of, I feel like that's the direction I want to go in, just to build a bit more, like the businesswoman side. And then just kind of see where things take me as well. I think I've put a lot less pressure on myself. I have to achieve certain things. As long as I'm happy, as long as the people around me are happy, and as long as I feel like I'm respecting myself and doing something that I'm proud of, I'm just going to keep doing that,
And if Beyonce calls...
Yeah, obviously if Beyonce calls as well.
You'll see her on stage.
Yeah, but if not, I'll just dance to Beyonce in my bedroom.
Exactly, carry on with that.
Yeah.
Well, Danielle, it's been amazing getting to know you today.
Oh,
I don't even want to end it here, but like I said, I've gone off script a million times today because I've just been so interested. So thank you very much for taking your time out to come and join us on the podcast.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, PLT.
It's been amazing.
It's always a pleasure.
It's always a pleasure with you, babes. And to everybody for listening at home, thank you so much, or watching at home. If you have enjoyed this episode, please make sure to subscribe and leave us a little review. And we'll see you next week.